digital asset investor. He just posted about a catalyst that he believes will send XRP soaring to new all-time highs. We're going to dig into that. We got a great post from Moon Lambo, drawing some parallels between the XRP ecosystem and the Binance ecosystem. Pretty interesting stuff there. But before we get into that, I got this report here from Grayscale, and they're saying the following. Look, each of the past cycles, they all have their own unique drivers. It's different every time. This time, it's the election and ETFs and all sorts of stuff. It's wildly different each time. So you shouldn't expect each cycle to perfectly mirror the last. But it does say, you know what? Using the past, it can be a great guide. And using all their current metrics and analysis, they believe right now this crypto cycle is at its intermediate stage of a bull run. Let me know what you think. Is this nearing the end? Is this almost the top? Or are we just getting going? Only time's going to tell. Let me know what you think. Now, we see digital asset investor right here. He says, I believe the announcement of a resolution of the SEC versus Ripple case could be the catalyst for zooming past the XRP all-time high. This is what I'll tell you. I think it's going to take a while. First, you have the inauguration. It's going to take a while to get the new SEC chair confirmed. I'm sure this won't be day one. It's the very first thing he gets after. I think XRP will already be at an all-time high before this SEC chair even takes their seat. Now, what I think this will do, what do we know? Usually there are two sides to these crypto bull runs. You have the first, leg up, then you have a little bit of a summer doldrums. I think this will kick in the turbochargers for the second part of this crypto cycle, where typically we see blow off tops, things of this nature. This is when things could get really, really crazy. So I think digital asset investor is correct. I think this will drive new all-time highs, but ones that were set early on in 2025. Just my opinion. Let me know if you think this will take a while. I think we're going to crush previous all-time highs first quarter 2025. Now, Moon Lambo, he says, fun, look, I don't play the XRP meme game, which is fine. I don't really invest in memes either. Once in a while, I'll do some gambling, but it's not my thing. But he likes the logic of this post here by Polly. And he says, you remember what happened to Binance when BNB memes after BUSD went live? So essentially what this poster is saying is, look, we've seen some action in XRP Ledger memes, but now you have RLUSD going live on chain, and this is going to be a huge catalyst. Polly says the following: XRP meme cycle will be something that has never been seen before. Even though I'm not a meme investor, I want to see activity on chain, transactions, real world transactions, and that's what this would lead to. So if this happens because of RLUSD, I think it would be a big thing for you as an XRP investor, even if you don't play the meme game. This is big. And take it even farther. I think this will just drive liquidity on the XRP ledger in general, more transactions in general, just not meme coins. And further, it's going to fuel adoption and building and all sorts of stuff. This is a big deal. We are seeing the XRP ledger graduate and really upgrade in a big way. We have a big warning here from Kevin Cage saying, my buddy's father was just hacked for a large sum of money in XRP. It was an uphold phishing scam. Everyone has to be vigilant. What happens? A lot of times these platforms get hacked. I'm not saying Uphold was, I don't know, but they get a lot of information on you, and they're able to really craft some amazing, whether it's a phone call or an email, and because they know stuff about you, what platforms you use, what wallets you use, it can really tie you up here. So always be very careful about what you're doing. And if this is something real, if this really is Uphold, you can take your time. If this is something to do with your wallet, you can take your time. If something's really pushing you to act immediately, you got to act now. It's probably a scam. Just got to be careful out there. Always take a deep breath and figure out what's really going on, because this can get the best of us. Now, we see this. People don't realize that multi-purpose tokens on the XRPL will do absolutely nothing without XLS82D. To all the validators, please realize that enacting multi-purpose tokens will do nothing for the adoption of the standard, without also that second side of it, XLS82D. Now, Mayuka, one of the biggest developers out of Ripple, really sharp. If you don't follow her, you need to. She says, there's a lot of benefit to a slow rollout where the first steps, they don't do a lot. It's easier to test, easier to get set up. For example, someone who's waiting on DEX integration can still launch their tokens with this First Amendment and do a lot of development, testing, etc., while waiting for the DEX integration. So, yeah, there's two parts of this, and we eventually need to get them both done. But just because we're kind of doing one and then the later down the road, it's not like a waste of time. This is still a big deal. You get one side of it across the finish line, and when everyone's comfortable, we can get the second side. So development is sometimes a slow process. It can be irritating, but there's a rhyme and reason to all of this. And I think the validators always eventually get it correct. We see Vet saying the following: native XRP lending and borrowing is in development. It's a big milestone in XRP ledger DeFi. DeFi and RWA tokenization is so much simpler and efficient on the XRP ledger with net use of XRP. This is what I'll tell you here. When you look at kind of what's being built here, it's quite different than what you see on Ethereum, what you see on Solana. And at first glance, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. But this is what you want. You want a novel approach, a different approach, something that's going to bring, a new type of investor or user to the blockchain. And this has a chance to be a very important development for the XRP ledger. This could bring on a lot of institutional lending and borrowing. And, it's all about being compliant. This is going to be a game changer, I feel, long-term for the XRP ledger. Digital asset investor posting this talk by Charles. I'm not going to play the video here. You can listen to it. But, he's talking about, and it sounds pretty serious, that they're having discussions about how Ripple may be able to implement Midnight, that privacy chain, that like institutional level privacy that's fully compliant into their payment flows. And I think there's a lot that these two ecosystems could do. Now, we know Charles likes to think, and he likes to study, and he likes to talk a whole lot. And sometimes nothing comes of it, but he keeps circling back to this one. I think there might be something here. And if there is, I think it could be huge for both blockchains, both Cardano and the XRP ledger. He's also advising Ripple on, how they can approach RLUSD, how it interacts with other chains. Because we know what we see from Circle and Tether and some of these other chains, it's not always fair. Not always the best chain gets the tokenized dollar. And I like seeing this because it's a way that these very valuable and important chains can, band together and fight back against, the establishment, your Coinbases, your Circles, the people like this. They can really build a lot of value and a lot of synergy. I think that's a huge deal. Lastly, here we have this talk by Charles Gasparino. And I blocked him a long time ago. This is a sad little troll. And he's sitting there and he says, you know what? Judge Torres made like a stupid ruling or an imbecile ruling. Like this guy thinks he knows more about the law than Judge Torres. And you could tell he gets his talking points from his buddies Hinman and Clayton. He's good friends with them and other people at the SEC. And he's making the point that, retail investors, they didn't get the protection. Ripple can just sell to them, but institutional investors, they need extra disclosures. And it's such a twisting of the narrative here. First of all, institutional investors don't get any additional protections here. They can go buy in the open market. Only when you wrap the sale of this commodity in contracts, i.e. the Howey test, is it a securities violation. Like this isn't a hard concept. It's just like consumers of oranges didn't get any extra protection, but people that invested in Howey with these wrap contracts, well, they did. It's the same exact thing here. Even someone as stupid and petty as this guy knows this. He just likes to put out that SEC talking point. Again, I blocked this guy a long time ago, but I keep seeing this clip pop up. It took me a few days just to watch it, but he knows better. He's just given from somebody these talking points. He goes on here just spouting off nonsense. Judge Torres, I'm pretty sure knows more about the law than him and me and most people out there. Let's be honest about that. And further, the outcome, maybe it's not what we want. That's why we need new rules, new regulations. We've been saying it forever. And the Gary Genslers out there, they've been saying the rules are clear, the rules are perfect, the law doesn't need to be changed. And the minute they get an outcome they don't like, oh, now it's time to go back to the drawing board. Again, we've been saying this forever. Yeah, probably these crypto projects should give some disclosures to investors. And it would be great if you and me could sit down and go over quarterly reports from principals and big projects. That'd be fantastic. The more information we get that we can rely on, the more powerful this blockchain space will be. But you need to write those laws. You need to do so in a sensible way that doesn't stifle innovation. But this bozo, this clown spouting off, I just can't handle him. Again, I find it much more enjoyable on X just blocking him, not having to deal with his nonsense. Poor Eleanor Terrett, who does great reporting, having to be straddled with this guy is quite the nightmare. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.